It was a crisp autumn evening when Lucy received the mysterious invitation. The envelope, worn and yellowed with age, bore only the words, "You are summoned to Briar Hollow," in an elegant, swirling script. Intrigued, she ran her fingers over the textured paper, feeling an odd sense of anticipation mixed with dread. Lucy had heard the stories, the tales of strange happenings and whispered curses surrounding the old Briar Hollow estate, abandoned for decades. But curiosity tugged at her, and before she knew it, she found herself gathering a few friends to join her. Mark, her ever-practical boyfriend, Sarah, her adventurous best friend, and Jake, the skeptic. "Are you sure about this?" Mark asked as they drove down the winding road that led to Briar Hollow. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the cracked pavement. "Come on, it'll be fun. Just a little adventure," Lucy replied, her excitement bubbling over. "Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that could happen?" Sarah added, her eyes gleaming with mischief. Jake chuckled from the back seat. "You guys are ridiculous. This place is just an old house with some overhyped stories. I can't believe you fell for it." As they approached the estate, the atmosphere shifted. The air thickened, charged with an energy that sent shivers down their spines. The house loomed before them, a decaying relic swallowed by creeping ivy and darkness, its windows like hollow eyes watching them. "Let's get this over with," Mark said, his voice tinged with unease. Inside, the air was stale, filled with the scent of mold and rot. The grand foyer was a shadow of its former glory, with peeling wallpaper and a chandelier that hung precariously from the ceiling. They gathered around an old, dust-covered table, and Lucy placed the invitation in the center. "What do you think it means?" Sarah asked, her voice barely a whisper. Mark shrugged. "Maybe someone wants to scare us. Or it's a prank. Or maybe it's a ghost," Jake quipped, rolling his eyes. "Very funny," Lucy shot back. "We came here for an adventure, remember?" Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the room, slamming the door shut behind them. They jumped, exchanging nervous glances. "Okay, that's creepy," Mark admitted, taking a step closer to Lucy. "We should explore," Lucy suggested, trying to shake off the growing tension. As they wandered through the dimly lit rooms, they discovered relics of the past. An old piano with yellowed keys, a dusty portrait of a woman with a haunting gaze, and bookshelves filled with volumes that looked as if they hadn't been touched in years. Each creak of the floorboards echoed like a heartbeat, heightening their senses. "Look at this," Sarah said, holding up a cracked mirror. The reflection showed not just their faces, but distorted versions, twisted and grotesque. "Let's not linger here," Jake said, a hint of fear creeping into his voice. As night fell, they gathered in the main hall, the flickering candlelight casting dancing shadows across the walls. They shared stories of the past, the rumors of the family that once lived here, the tragic deaths, the whispers of madness. "Legend has it that the last owner, Elizabeth Briar, went insane," Lucy recounted, her voice low. "They say she could communicate with the dead." "Sounds like a load of crap," Jake replied, but even he could feel the chill in the air. "Then why do you look like you just saw a ghost?" Sarah teased, but her laughter didn't quite reach her eyes. Suddenly, a loud bang resonated from upstairs, causing everyone to jump. "What was that?" Mark asked, his voice tense. "Probably just the house settling," Lucy said, trying to sound reassuring. But her heart raced as she suggested, "Let's check it out." With flashlights in hand, they ascended the creaking staircase. Each step felt heavier, the air thick with an inexplicable weight. They reached the second floor, where the hallway stretched like a dark tunnel, lined with closed doors. "This feels wrong," Mark whispered, glancing back toward the staircase. "Stop being such a wuss," Jake said, pushing open the first door. It led to a dusty bedroom, the bed draped in a tattered veil of lace. "See? Just an old room." But as they explored the other rooms, they found remnants of a life long gone, children's toys scattered on the floor, a diary with pages torn out, and a nursery filled with the ghostly echoes of laughter that sent chills down their spines. Then they heard it, a soft, melodic whisper that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. "Did you hear that?" Sarah asked, her eyes wide. "Yeah," Mark replied, his voice trembling. "It sounded like a song." "Maybe it's Elizabeth," Lucy suggested, half joking. They followed the sound, drawn like moths to a flame. It led them to a room at the end of the hall, its door slightly ajar. Inside, they found a nursery bathed in moonlight, untouched by time. The walls were adorned with faded murals of enchanted forests and smiling animals. A rocking chair creaked gently, despite the stillness of the air. "This is beautiful," Lucy breathed, stepping further inside. But as they entered, the whispers grew louder, filling their minds with a haunting lullaby. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, plunging them into darkness. Panic surged as they fumbled for their flashlights. "Guys, what's happening?" Mark shouted, his voice rising. The whispers turned into desperate wails, echoing around them. The air thickened, swirling with an oppressive energy. "Get us out of here," Jake yelled, banging on the door, but it wouldn't budge. "Lucy, do something," Sarah pleaded, tears glistening in her eyes. In that moment, Lucy felt an overwhelming urge to sing, as if the room itself was calling to her. Taking a deep breath, she began to sing the lullaby. The others stared at her, bewildered. "What are you doing?" Mark asked, but Lucy continued, her voice rising above the chaos. To their astonishment, the wails transformed into harmonies, and the room shifted. The walls shimmered, revealing glimpses of the past, visions of a family playing, laughing, and then shadows creeping in, darkness consuming the light. As the visions faded, the door creaked open, releasing them from the nursery's grip. Stumbling back into the hallway, they were met with a chilling silence. The house felt different now, as if it were alive, watching them, waiting. "We need to leave," Mark insisted, his voice shaky. "No, we can't leave now. We have to know what happened here," Lucy argued, feeling a strange connection to the house. "Why are you so obsessed with this place?" Jake snapped. "It's just a bunch of spooky stories." "Because it's more than that. We have to find the truth," she exclaimed, her eyes ablaze with determination. As they made their way back downstairs, Lucy noticed something unusual, a door that hadn't been there before, hidden behind the staircase. "What's this?" she murmured, stepping closer. "Lucy, don't," Mark warned, grabbing her arm, but her curiosity overwhelmed her, and she pushed the door open, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling down into darkness. "Should we really go down there?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. "Yeah, because that's always a good idea," Jake added sarcastically. "Come on, don't be scared," Lucy said, stepping forward. "We need to know." Reluctantly, they followed her down the staircase, the air growing colder with each step. At the bottom, they entered a damp stone chamber filled with ancient artifacts, broken dolls, shattered mirrors, and a strange altar at the center. "What is this place?" Mark whispered, his voice barely audible. "It looks like some kind of ritual site," Lucy said, examining the altar adorned with faded symbols. Suddenly, the ground shook, and a voice boomed from the shadows, deep and resonant. "You dare disturb the resting place of the damned?" They froze, terror gripping their hearts. A figure emerged from the darkness, draped in tattered robes, eyes glowing like embers. "What have you awakened?" it hissed, the air thick with malevolence. We didn't mean to," Sarah stammered, backing away. "Fools, you have awakened the spirits of Briar Hollow." The figure's voice echoed, shaking the very walls of the chamber. "Wait, we're not here to harm anyone," Lucy pleaded, stepping forward despite the fear gnawing at her. "You cannot change what has been done," the figure growled, raising a hand. As if responding to its command, the artifacts around them began to levitate, swirling in a chaotic dance. "Stop!" Lucy shouted, desperation fueling her words. "We want to help." "Help?" the figure sneered. "You seek the truth, but the truth is a curse." With that, a vision crashed over them. They were thrust into a torrent of memories, witnessing the tragic history of Briar Hollow, the family torn apart by jealousy, betrayal, and madness. Elizabeth Briar, once a loving mother, had succumbed to despair, her grief transforming her into a vengeful spirit, unwilling to let go of her children. As the vision faded, the figure revealed itself, a tortured soul bound to the house, unable to find peace. "You must choose. Will you join us in eternal despair, or break the cycle?" Lucy felt a deep connection to the spirits. "We can help you find peace," she declared, her voice steady. "But how?" Mark asked, his fear slowly shifting to resolve. "The children," the figure whispered. "Release them from their torment." "I can do that," Lucy said, a newfound strength coursing through her veins. She took a deep breath, centering herself, and began to sing the lullaby once more. As her voice filled the chamber, the spirits stirred, their anguished cries turning into soft, harmonious tones. The energy shifted, swirling around them like a tempest. "I can feel them," Sarah whispered, tears streaming down her face. "They want to be free." With each note, the chamber transformed. The darkness receded, revealing glimpses of light, warmth, and joy. The family reunited in a blissful embrace. But just as they thought the nightmare was ending, a chilling realization struck Lucy. "Wait, what if we're the ones meant to stay here?" In an instant, the spirits surged forward, their energy enveloping the group. Lucy screamed as she felt herself being pulled, the world spinning around her. "No! Lucy!" Mark shouted, reaching for her, but it was too late. As the light engulfed her, Lucy's vision blurred, and the last thing she saw was the sorrowful face of the figure, its expression softening as if finally released from its pain. Then everything went dark. When Lucy awoke, she found herself in the nursery, alone. The sunlight streamed through the cracked windows, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. Confused, she sat up, her heart racing. "Guys," she called, but there was no response. Panic surged within her as she dashed through the house, searching room after room. But she was alone, completely and utterly alone. As she reached the foyer, she noticed something odd. The invitation lay on the table, but now it bore a new message. "Welcome home." Suddenly, the door swung open, and a familiar face appeared. It was Jake, but something was different. His eyes glinted with an unsettling knowledge. "Lucy, you're back," he said, his voice smooth, almost too smooth. "I was beginning to worry." "What happened? Where are the others?" she demanded, her heart pounding. "Oh, they're here. They've always been here." His smile widened, revealing too many teeth. Lucy took a step back, realization dawning upon her. The house wasn't just a relic of the past. It thrived on souls, drawing them in and holding them captive. "Lucy, we've been waiting for you," Jake said, his tone eerily cheerful. "Welcome to Briar Hollow. You'll fit right in." As the shadows closed in around her, Lucy screamed, but no one would hear her in the haunted echoes of Briar Hollow, a new member of the family she once sought to save. In the distance, the haunting lullaby began to play again, a chilling reminder that the cycle would never truly end. Lucy awoke to the gentle rustle of leaves outside her window. The soft sunlight filtered through the tattered curtains of her new home, Briar Hollow. It felt as if she had just drifted off, yet the haunting memories of the previous night were vivid in her mind. The faces of Mark, Sarah, and Jake still lingered, echoing in the corners of her consciousness, remnants of their laughter mixing with the eerie lullaby that had welcomed her home. But something was different. As she moved through the house, the familiar creaks of the old wood seemed to hum with a new energy. The walls whispered secrets, and shadows danced in the corners, weaving stories of their own. She was now part of this world, a wraith bound to the cycles of Briar Hollow. "Welcome home, Lucy," she whispered to herself, a smirk playing on her lips. It was both an acknowledgement and a warning. Days turned into weeks as Lucy settled into her new life. The house welcomed her, revealing hidden nooks and crannies, dusty alcoves filled with forgotten trinkets and mirrors that showed not just reflections but glimpses of souls trapped within the walls. Each artifact seemed to pulse with energy, waiting for her touch. With every passing day, she felt the insatiable hunger growing inside her, a thirst for connection that could only be sated by the souls of the living. Lucy could hear their whispers in the night, could almost taste their fears. The first time she ventured outside the confines of Briar Hollow, she felt a thrill rush through her, a predator released into the wild. The townsfolk whispered of Briar Hollow, recounting the old legends. They spoke of the house with a mind of its own, drawing in the unsuspecting. But Lucy knew the truth. She was now the siren of Briar Hollow, a weaver of fate, luring her prey into the depths of despair. One chilly evening, Lucy sat on the dilapidated porch, watching the sunset bleed into the horizon. Her gaze fell upon a figure wandering down the path, a young woman with chestnut hair and wide, curious eyes. A flicker of excitement sparked within her. "Hello?" Lucy called, her voice melodious, like a haunting tune. The woman hesitated, glancing toward the house with a mix of intrigue and fear. "Is this Briar Hollow?" Lucy stepped forward, her demeanor warm and inviting. "Yes, it is. You're not lost, are you? It's so easy to get turned around in these woods." The young woman smiled, reassured by Lucy's charm. "I'm Emma. I heard stories about this place, but I didn't think it would be so beautiful." "Come in, Emma," Lucy said, gesturing toward the open door. "You can see for yourself. There's much to discover inside." As Emma stepped over the threshold, Lucy felt the familiar pulse of energy course through her veins. With each passing moment, the hunger grew stronger. She watched Emma explore the house, her fingers grazing the walls, absorbing the history of Briar Hollow. "Have you lived here long?" Emma asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Long enough," Lucy replied, her smile hiding the darkness beneath. "Time is different here." Lucy guided Emma through the labyrinthine rooms, each step drawing her deeper into the house's embrace. They laughed together, sharing stories, but Lucy's mind was focused on the thrill of the hunt. Emma's naivety was intoxicating, feeding Lucy's insatiable need to ensnare her prey. "What do you like most about Briar Hollow?" Emma asked, pausing in front of a mirror adorned with cracked glass. "The history," Lucy said, stepping closer, "and the connections it fosters. You see, the house holds memories, echoes of those who once lived here." As she spoke, the whispers grew louder, the voices of the trapped souls urging her on. Lucy felt their desperation, their longing for release. It only fueled her desire. "Sometimes I can feel them," Lucy continued, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Their energy flows through me. It's as if they're sharing their stories, their pain." Emma's eyes widened, a mixture of fascination and unease crossing her face. "That sounds incredible, but also kind of scary." Lucy leaned in closer, her voice dripping with seduction. "Isn't it? To know that life and death are intertwined, to feel the weight of their memories and the freedom of their release. As dusk settled, Lucy led Emma to the nursery, the same room where she had first encountered the echoes of Briar Hollow. The rocking chair swayed gently, as if beckoning them closer. "This is my favorite room," Lucy said, her heart racing. "It holds the essence of innocence, of dreams, but it also holds secrets." "What kind of secrets?" Emma asked, her curiosity piqued. Lucy smiled, the shadows in the room deepening. "The kind that make you question reality. You see, every soul that enters Briar Hollow leaves a part of themselves behind, and in return, they receive something extraordinary." Emma's expression shifted, a flicker of uncertainty dancing across her face. "What do you mean?" "Stay with me, Emma," Lucy urged, stepping closer. "Let me show you what it means to truly live, to embrace the darkness. There's beauty in surrender." In that moment, the air thickened, charged with the weight of impending decisions. Emma's breath caught as she sensed the pull of the house, the seductive whispers enticing her deeper. Lucy's heart raced as she sensed Emma's wavering resolve. She leaned closer, whispering words meant to ensnare, to enthrall. "You'll never be alone here. The house will always protect you. Just let go." Emma hesitated, a storm of emotions battling within her. But Lucy pressed on, weaving a tapestry of allure and despair, painting a picture of freedom wrapped in darkness. "Join me, and we can share the stories of those who came before us. We'll become part of something eternal." With each word, the shadows in the room deepened, wrapping around them like a cocoon. The room pulsed with energy, the walls vibrating with the stories of lost souls hungry for release. "Please, Lucy," Emma murmured, her voice trembling. "I'm scared." "You have nothing to fear," Lucy promised, her voice silky smooth. "You'll be safe with me. The others will welcome you." In that moment of vulnerability, Lucy felt the insatiable hunger surge within her. With a gentle touch, she caressed Emma's cheek, feeling the warmth of her life, the pulse of her soul. The rush of power and the thrill of the hunt merged within her. "Let me show you," Lucy whispered, her heart racing as she drew closer. She pressed her lips against Emma's, feeling the warmth radiate between them. The moment their lips touched, a surge of energy coursed through Lucy, a tidal wave of sensations. She pulled back, her eyes ablaze, and saw Emma's expression shift from confusion to serenity. "What did you—" Emma began, but before she could finish, Lucy felt it. The connection, the essence of Emma's soul intertwining with her own. It was intoxicating. With a single thought, Lucy tapped into the depths of Emma's consciousness, absorbing her fears, dreams, and desires. Emma's essence flowed through her, a rush of warmth and power that left Lucy breathless. As the euphoric high faded, Lucy stepped back, breathless and exhilarated. "You're part of me now," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Emma looked dazed, her eyes glossing over. "I feel different. What did you do?" Lucy smiled, a wicked grin that hinted at the darkness lurking beneath. "You've tasted the beauty of Briar Hollow. You're safe here, Emma. You're home." But deep within, a conflict stirred. Lucy could feel the shadows tugging at her, demanding more. The hunger surged again, clawing at her insides. It wasn't enough. It could never be enough. "What's happening to me?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. "The house desires souls, my dear," Lucy said, her tone laced with regret. "You're a part of its legacy now, a keeper of its stories." Emma's eyes widened in horror. "What do you mean?" Lucy could see the realization dawn on her. "You're not just a guest. You're a part of the cycle now." Panic surged through Emma. "No, I don't want this. I want to leave." But as she turned to flee, the walls of Briar Hollow seemed to shift, the shadows swirling with malevolence. Lucy could feel the house's grip tightening around Emma, sensing the fear and desperation radiating from her. "You can't escape, Emma," Lucy called, but there was a plea in her voice that she couldn't hide. "You're bound to this place now, just like I am." Tears streamed down Emma's face as she backed against the wall, the shadows closing in. "Please, let me go." Lucy felt the anguish ripple through her, torn between the hunger of Briar Hollow and the connection they had forged. "I don't want to hurt you, but I can't break free." "Then you're just like the others," Emma screamed, the despair in her voice cutting through Lucy's resolve. "You're just another monster." The words stung, a raw wound slicing through Lucy's heart. "No, I'm not a monster. I was trapped here, just like you will be, but together we can find a way." But Emma was slipping away, consumed by fear. As Lucy watched her panic, a surge of desperation surged within her. She had been lured here too, had once been just as innocent. "No," Lucy shouted, reaching for Emma. "Don't let the darkness win. Fight it with me." In that moment, the air thickened and the house shuddered, the whispers rising in a cacophony of despair. The spirits stirred, their wails echoing through the halls, hungry for a release. "Join me, Emma," Lucy begged, tears streaming down her cheeks. "We can end this together." But Emma's eyes were wild, filled with terror as she backed toward the door. "I don't want to be part of this," she cried, her voice trembling with fear. In a surge of rage, the house roared, its power rippling through the walls. Shadows coiled around Emma, and Lucy felt the pull of the house deepening, tightening its grip on both of them. "No!" Lucy screamed, lunging forward, desperate to break the cycle. She reached for Emma, but the darkness enveloped her, pulling her back. The room erupted in chaos as shadows writhed around them. Emma's scream echoed in the chamber, a chilling reminder of what they had become. Lucy felt the hunger rise, clawing at her heart, but the connection they shared pulsed stronger than ever. "Fight, Emma! Remember who you are!" Lucy shouted, her voice breaking. In that moment, a flicker of recognition crossed Emma's face. "Lucy, help me!" Lucy's heart raced. She could feel the house's presence, the weight of countless souls urging her to surrender to the darkness. But she couldn't let it consume them both. With a primal scream, Lucy summoned every ounce of strength she had left. "We can break free, together!" The shadows recoiled as she reached for Emma, their connection surging like a lightning bolt. They collided, their souls intertwining in a moment of clarity and resolve. As the darkness swirled around them, Lucy felt the spirits converge, their cries echoing in her ears. "You must choose," they wailed. "Surrender or fight." "I choose to fight," Lucy shouted, her voice rising above the chaos. "We won't let this house take us." With a final surge of power, she drew Emma close, their hearts pounding in unison. The shadows lunged, trying to tear them apart, but Lucy held fast, anchoring Emma to her. "Feel the light," Lucy cried, remembering the warmth of hope that had once flickered within her. "Remember the love and the life you had before." In that moment, a brilliant light erupted from within them, illuminating the room and pushing back the shadows. The house trembled, its dark grip shattering under the force of their combined will. With a blinding flash, the darkness dissolved, and the room fell silent. Lucy opened her eyes, her breath ragged as she scanned the nursery. Emma lay beside her, breathing heavily, but alive. "We did it," Lucy whispered, tears streaming down her face. "We broke free." But as they looked around, a heavy silence lingered in the air, the spirits' cries fading into echoes. They had severed the bond that had held them captive, but the weight of the house still pressed against them. Together they stumbled out of the nursery and into the hallway, where the light shone brightly through the windows. As they stepped outside, the air felt lighter, the oppressive weight of Briar Hollow lifting. But as they turned to leave, a chilling realization struck Lucy. The house was still standing, its walls intact, its stories buried deep within. The cycle of despair had been broken for them, but at what cost? "Lucy, what will happen now?" Emma asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "We have to leave Briar Hollow behind," Lucy replied, her heart heavy with the knowledge of what they had experienced. But as they walked away, the shadows lingered, watching from the depths of the house, waiting for the next soul to wander too close, ready to begin the cycle anew. And as they vanished into the woods, a haunting lullaby began to play, echoing through the trees, a chilling reminder that the story of Briar Hollow was far from over. Lucy awoke with a jolt, the echoes of her nightmare still reverberating in her mind. She sat up in bed, drenched in sweat, her heart pounding. The memories of Briar Hollow, the whispers, the shadows, the darkness swirled around her, a chaotic storm of emotion. "No, it can't be real," she murmured, burying her face in her hands. It had felt so vivid, so alive. As she gathered her thoughts, Lucy glanced around her room. Sunlight streamed through the window, bathing the space in warm light. Everything appeared normal, too normal. She felt a pang of relief wash over her, but that relief was short-lived. Her gaze fell on a familiar object resting on her bedside table, the invitation to Briar Hollow. The ornate script glimmered with an unsettling allure. "You are summoned to Briar Hollow," it read, and suddenly, dread curled in her stomach like a serpent ready to strike. "No, no, no," she gasped, scrambling out of bed. The invitation felt like a taunt, a reminder that the darkness she thought she had escaped still lingered just beyond her reach. Lucy dashed toward the door, her pulse racing. Was it possible that the nightmare had been more than just a dream? That she was still caught in the web of Briar Hollow's influence? She flung open the door, her heart pounding in her chest. The world outside seemed both familiar and foreign, the air heavy with an unsettling stillness. Trees loomed like silent sentinels, their shadows long and ominous. She sprinted down the path, the invitation clutched tightly in her hand, panic surging through her veins. "Lucy!" a voice called from behind her, stopping her in her tracks. She turned to see a figure emerging from the tree line, a woman with chestnut hair, wide eyes, and a face that looked achingly familiar. It was Emma, the very woman she had dreamed about, the one who had been lured into the depths of Briar Hollow with her. "Emma?" Lucy breathed, disbelief flooding her senses. "Lucy, is that you?" Emma's voice wavered, uncertainty etched across her features. Before Lucy could respond, a rush of emotions overwhelmed her. "You have to listen to me," she shouted, fear spilling out of her. "We need to destroy Briar Hollow before it takes us both." Emma frowned, taking a cautious step back. "What are you talking about? I don't understand." "Don't you remember?" Lucy pleaded, her voice trembling. "We were trapped there together. I had a premonition, visions of the house consuming us, taking more souls. We have to stop it." Emma's brow furrowed in confusion. "Lucy, I don't remember much, just bits and pieces like shadows in my mind." "Exactly," Lucy exclaimed, urgency lacing her words. "That's how it works. The house holds on to us, twists our memories. But I know what we have to do. We need to burn it down, destroy it completely before it can trap anyone else." Emma hesitated, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. "But what if it's just a dream? What if none of this is real?" "It was real for us," Lucy insisted, stepping closer. "You felt it, didn't you? The connection, the fear. It's still there, lurking. We can't ignore it." Emma looked away, her mind racing. "I remember laughter and darkness, and I remember being scared. But I don't know if I can trust you, Lucy." "Trust me, Emma," Lucy said, her voice softening. "I don't want to drag you back into that nightmare. I want to protect you. If we don't act now, we'll be trapped forever, just like all the others." "Others?" Emma questioned, her voice barely a whisper. "What do you mean?" "The souls that were lost in Briar Hollow," Lucy explained. "They're still there, crying out for help. I felt their pain, their desperation. If we don't destroy the house, it will continue to lure in innocent people, just like it did to us." Emma shivered, the weight of Lucy's words settling around her. "But how do we destroy it? It's an old house and we're just us." "We'll find a way," Lucy assured her. "We'll use the fire. It's the only thing that can cleanse the darkness. Trust me, I know how to do this." Emma took a deep breath, her expression shifting as she recalled fragments of their shared dream. "I remember the nursery," she murmured, her brow furrowing in thought. "And the lullaby. I felt something pulling me back. It was terrifying." Lucy reached out, grasping Emma's hands. "Then you know what we're up against. Please, Emma, we can't let it happen again. We have to fight back." Emma hesitated, fear battling with a strange sense of purpose igniting within her. "What if you're right? What if we can stop it?" "We can," Lucy urged, her voice firm, "but we have to act fast before it can pull us in again." With a determined nod, Emma stepped closer, her gaze resolute. "Okay, let's do this. But where do we start?" "First, we need to go back to Briar Hollow," Lucy said, adrenaline surging through her. "We have to confront it head-on." As they began their journey back, Lucy felt a rush of hope. Perhaps together they could break the cycle once and for all, but deep down, a nagging fear remained. What if Briar Hollow had already claimed Emma, twisted her memories further, and turned her against Lucy? The path leading to Briar Hollow felt longer than she remembered, each step laden with an oppressive weight. Lucy's heart raced, anticipation and dread coursing through her. "Are you ready?" Lucy asked, glancing at Emma, who looked pale but resolute. "I guess we'll find out," Emma replied, a nervous smile flickering across her face. As they approached the house, the air turned thick with tension, the whispers of the past echoing around them. Lucy felt the house's pull, a familiar tug of darkness clawing at her insides. She grasped Emma's hand tighter, determined not to let the shadows win. The door creaked open as if welcoming them back, the scent of decay and forgotten memories enveloping them. "We need to find the nursery," Lucy said, her voice steady despite the fear curling in her stomach. As they stepped inside, the house seemed to pulse with energy, shadows shifting along the walls. Lucy could feel the spirits watching them, their cries echoing in the recesses of her mind. In the nursery, the rocking chair swayed gently, as if beckoning them closer. The walls felt alive, whispering secrets that only the house understood. "Lucy, it feels so strange," Emma murmured, glancing around nervously. "It's like it remembers us." "It does," Lucy replied, her heart pounding. "But we can't let it have us. We need to find something to burn, something that can cleanse this place." Emma moved closer to the rocking chair, her hand brushing against the wood. "Do you think this will work?" "Anything that carries the essence of this house will do," Lucy said. "The more it holds, the stronger the fire will burn." As they searched the nursery, Lucy caught sight of a dusty old photo frame lying on the floor. She picked it up, revealing a faded picture of a family, smiling, unaware of the tragedy that would unfold. "This is it," she said, holding it up. "This picture holds their memories, their pain. It will help the fire burn brighter." "Let's do it," Emma said, her resolve hardening. Lucy led Emma outside, where they gathered twigs and dry leaves, creating a small pile in the clearing near the house. "We'll burn this here," she said, her heart racing. "The fire will cleanse the darkness." Emma nodded, her expression serious as she placed the photo in the center of the pile. "Do you have anything to light it with?" Lucy rifled through her bag, her hands trembling. "I've got matches," she exclaimed, pulling them out. As they lit the pile, the flames flickered to life, dancing eagerly in the evening air. Lucy felt a surge of power as the fire grew, the memories of Briar Hollow swirling around them like a tempest. "Burn, you wretched place," Lucy shouted, throwing her hands up. "Let the darkness be released." But just as the fire roared higher, the ground beneath them trembled, and the shadows surged forward, attempting to swallow them whole. "Lucy!" Emma screamed, stumbling back as the darkness threatened to engulf them. "What's happening?" "The house is fighting back," Lucy shouted, desperately trying to keep the flames alive. "Don't let it take you. Focus on the light." Emma's eyes widened as the shadows clawed at her, memories of their time in Briar Hollow flooding her mind. "I can feel it," she gasped. "It's pulling me back." "Fight it, Emma," Lucy urged, her voice breaking. "Remember who you are. Remember us." With a surge of defiance, Lucy stepped closer to the flames, channeling every ounce of her strength into the fire. "You will not take her. You will not take us." The shadows writhed in agony as the flames crackled and roared, consuming the photo and the darkness that clung to it. Emma fell to her knees, clutching her head as visions of the house flashed before her eyes. I remember everything," she cried out, tears streaming down her face. "The pain, the despair. Lucy, please." "Focus on the light," Lucy shouted, her heart racing as she reached for Emma. "We can break free together." The fire exploded, a blinding wave of light pushing back the shadows. Lucy felt a rush of energy, the spirits crying out as they were released from their torment. With a final surge, the darkness shrieked, dissipating into the air as the flames consumed the last remnants of Briar Hollow's grip. "Lucy, it's working!" Emma shouted, her voice filled with hope. As the flames danced higher, the house shook, its foundations crumbling under the power of the fire. Lucy felt the warmth enveloping them, a sense of freedom washing over her. "Let's go!" Lucy shouted, pulling Emma away from the flames. They stumbled back, watching as Briar Hollow burned to the ground, the darkness finally purged from its existence. As the last embers flickered into the night, Lucy and Emma collapsed on the ground, breathless but triumphant. "We did it," Lucy whispered, tears of relief streaming down her face. Emma nodded, a smile breaking through her exhaustion. "We broke the cycle." But as they sat in the remnants of their battle, a soft whisper reached their ears, a chilling reminder of what had once been. "Briar Hollow is gone," Lucy said, her heart heavy with the weight of their victory. "But the memories will linger. We must carry them with us, always." Emma looked at her, understanding glimmering in her eyes. "We're free now, Lucy. We can live." But as they turned to leave, a faint echo of laughter floated through the air, a haunting reminder that the darkness could always return, lurking just beyond the edges of their memories.